The concept of capital punishment has always existed at the intersection of justice, ethics, and human rights. Today, we're taking a closer look at a sobering reality in our prison system: the individuals scheduled for execution in 2025. Every execution scheduled represents an individual with a unique story, a life path that led to the most severe punishment our justice system can impose. Today, we're looking beyond the headlines to examine the specific cases of those facing execution this year. In this video, we'll provide a straightforward examination of each case, focusing on the crimes they were convicted of, explaining the specific actions that led to their death sentence. These cases represent more than just statistics or headlines. Each involves real people, complex legal proceedings, and profound questions about our justice system. Our approach isn't to debate the morality or effectiveness of capital punishment. Rather, we aim to present these cases clearly and factually, allowing you to form your own understanding of each situation. These stories are difficult but important to understand. They involve real victims, real families, and real consequences. I've researched each case carefully to present the information accurately and respectfully. Let's begin our examination of the individuals scheduled for execution in 2025. Our first case involves Marion Bowman Jr., State, South Carolina. Offenses: murder, third-degree arson. Sentence: death penalty plus 10 years in prison. Execution date: January 31st, 2025. On a cold winter day in February 2001, the quiet community of Dorchester County, South Carolina was shaken by a horrific discovery. The burnt remains of 21-year-old Kandee Louise Martin were found in the trunk of her charred vehicle. What began as a monetary dispute between former high school acquaintances ended in a brutal murder that would ultimately lead to South Carolina's first execution of 2025. Kandee Louise Martin was born on October 2, 1979. By age 21, she was a young mother with her whole life ahead of her. Like many young adults, she maintained connections with people she knew from high school, including a man named Marion Bowman Jr. Little did she know that an encounter with Bowman in February 2001 would be her last. On February 16, 2001, Marion Bowman Jr., then 20 years old, was riding in a car with his sister when they encountered Kandee Martin with her friends. According to court testimony, Bowman asked his sister to stop the car because he wanted to speak with Martin about money he claimed she owed him. When Martin told Bowman to wait until she finished her conversation, witnesses reported hearing Bowman make a chilling statement that bitch be dead by dark. Later that evening, Martin drove to a house where Bowman and his friends had been drinking. Bowman and his cousin, James Tywin Gadsden, got into her car, and Bowman directed her to a remote location. What happened next was recounted by Gadsden during the trial. As they exited the vehicle, Gadsden heard Bowman express his intention to kill Martin. Bowman pulled out a gun and fired 3 shots. Martin turned to face him, pleading for her life and mentioning that she had a child to care for. Despite her pleas for mercy, Bowman fired 2 more shots, killing Martin. He then dragged her body into the nearby woods. After the murder, Bowman threatened Gadsden to stay silent, though Bowman himself would later brag about the killing to others. Later, Bowman enlisted another friend, Travis Felder, to help him drive the car back to the murder site. There, Bowman retrieved Martin's body from the woods, placed it in the trunk of her car, and set the vehicle on fire. A desperate attempt to destroy evidence of his crime. The following day, authorities discovered the burnt remains of Kandee Martin inside the trunk of her burnt car in Dorchester County. The investigation quickly led to Marion Bowman Jr., who was indicted by a grand jury in June 2001 on charges of murder and third-degree arson. On May 17, 2002, Bowman's trial began in St. George, Dorchester County. Bowman's defense team, argued that Gadsden's testimony shouldn't be trusted since he had taken a plea deal. They also suggested that the murder weapon may have been planted by investigators. After 3 hours of deliberation on May 24, 2002, the jury found Bowman guilty on both counts of murder and arson. The defense sought life imprisonment for Bowman, presenting mitigating evidence about his dysfunctional family background, including a history of severe alcoholism in his mother's family. They noted that Bowman began abusing alcohol at age 10 and had trafficked drugs by age 14. The prosecution, however, emphasized the aggravating circumstances and heinous nature of the crime, seeking the death penalty. On the same day as his conviction, the jury unanimously recommended the death penalty for the murder charge. Bowman was sentenced to death, plus an additional 10 years in prison for third-degree arson. Following his conviction and death sentence, Bowman began a lengthy appeals process that would span more than 2 decades. His first direct appeal to the South Carolina Supreme Court was dismissed on November 28, 2005. In subsequent appeals, Bowman argued that he was innocent and that his conviction resulted from ineffective counsel who failed to properly challenge Gadsden's testimony. He claimed violations of his 6th, 8th, and 14th Amendment rights. Bowman's legal team pointed to inconsistencies in Gadsden's testimony and even alleged that another witness had confessed to being the real killer. While on death row, Bowman became the subject of advocacy by anti-death penalty groups, including the American Civil Liberties Union. According to reports, Bowman spent his time on death row writing poetry and maintaining contact with family and friends. He participated in Bible studies and prayer groups with other inmates and developed a close friendship with fellow death row inmate Richard Moore, who reportedly taught Bowman to read and play chess before Moore's own execution in November 2024. On January 3, 2025, the South Carolina Supreme Court signed Bowman's death warrant, scheduling his execution for January 31, 2025. He was given until January 17 to choose between lethal injection, electric chair, or firing squad. Bowman selected lethal injection. For his last meal, Bowman ordered fried shrimp, fish, oysters, chicken wings, chicken tenders, onion rings, banana pudding, German chocolate cake, pineapple juice, and cranberry juice. On January 31, 2025, 44-year-old Marion Bowman Jr. was executed by lethal injection at Broad River Correctional Institution. He was pronounced dead at 6:27 p.m., becoming the first person executed in South Carolina and in the United States in 2025. Following the execution, the Martin family released a statement to local media. Our hearts go out to Bowman's family, but we do feel justice was served. We know from experience how hard it is to lose someone. They had earlier stated that they would not attend the execution, but viewed it as an act of justice and closure after 24 years. They noted that Martin never had the opportunity to see her son grow up or become a grandmother. Her son was only 2 years old when she was murdered. Kandee Martin's life was tragically cut short at just 21 years of age. Her story reminds us of the devastating impact of violence and the long, complex path to what some call justice in our legal system. Bowman's final statement, read by his attorney Boyd Young: I did not kill Kandee Martin. I'm innocent of the crimes I'm here to die for. Living behind these walls has taught me a lot about loss and grief. It is never easy, but I have learned to find comfort in sharing good memories and funny stories. My suffering will soon be at an end, but I know it is the beginning for others. Please keep your head up. Remember, I love you, and please share your memories of me. I know that Kandee's family is in pain. They're justifiably angry. If my death brings them some relief and ability to focus on the good times and funny stories, then I guess it will have served a purpose. I hope they find peace. To my family, friends, and supporters, I have nothing to give, but I have gained so much. I have tried to give a good return on your investment with love and care. I had bad moments, but never a bad day because there were so many people that I could reach out to, investing in me and giving me a hand up. We all ended up as family, and I got a whole lot of family. Thank you. Over the years, I have learned that we are labeled as the worst of the worst. None of these guys that I have gotten to know and grown to love are the people that they were when they had their moment that cost them everything. If the world could see us in our day-to-day, they would have a different view of the death penalty. We all pray for grace and forgiveness, but the outside world is stuck with images of monsters perpetrated by the state, while our real voices are silenced. We are not what the state labels us to be. We are kind, caring, loving people, and it's a shame the world can't see that. The case of Kandee Martin and Marion Bowman Jr. raises difficult questions about our justice system, the death penalty, and the lasting trauma experienced by victims' families. While the legal case has reached its conclusion, the ripple effects of this tragedy continue to impact all those connected to it. What do you think of this case? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to get more Case File Murder episodes. Take care, and see you again soon.